Welcome one, welcome all. We got a lot of fun on this Sunday ahead of us, and the main thing that I was looking at last week, Felix, I didn't have the greatest Sunday slate. I had a
Yeah,
decent Saturday, so I think
I did the same.
yeah, it was one of those slates where, God, that was Christmas Day, wasn't it? That was Christmas Day.
Holy cow!
I
Yeah, yeah,
I ended up winning a 20 entry max, $3. I got first and second, and it was one of the smaller $3 though. But we doubled up in NFL. Then Sunday, I spilled it all away.
I did the exact same thing. That's funny.
Terrible. You know what made me the most mad too is because I got a ticket into that main event.
Yeah,
Everybody got first and second in it, right? 3-3-3-3 entry, right? One of those like $3,000 ones. I did it through DK. I didn't buy in, right? I was super hyped. It's a nice tournament
yeah.
to have. Guy wins $3 million in first and second.
Oh
And
yeah. What's his name?
Peter Gibbons. Yeah.
Peter Gibbons. Yeah, dude. I was like, oh, he took down first and second. That's wild.
And then that night he won the showdown slate. So
Yeah, I saw that.
so I was just, but the worst part was I was sitting there and I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, the NFL is a problem. They have a tanking problem.
Yeah,
These teams clearly do not care. Why am I not stacking against the teams that clearly have checked out? They're already planning their trips in Cancun, and we're going to have a bunch of that this week with it being week 18. A lot of dead teams, the games that matter. We got 2 on Saturday. And for those watching, you're looking, maybe get some Saturday tidbits. There's going to be a show with JSU and Big T tomorrow. Check that out. That'll be at 10 in the morning. You can rewatch it. We're going to be focusing on that Sunday slate. I know it's a little bit different. We usually go live on Saturday nights, but we don't want to go live during a really, really good game, which should be the Seahawks and 49ers. That will determine the 1 seed. So, I mean, Felix, first, how are you doing, man? And then second, how excited are you for this Week 18 slot fest?
So last week, I just like you, I killed it. I took down actually I got third because of the last drive of Emmanuel Wilson got a few carries and took me out of first, but I had the nuts practically on Saturday. But yeah, I'm doing good. It's a great week. I also had a tough Sunday. I had a lot of the right pieces, just not in the right lineup. And yeah, this week it's kind of wild. Like Hampton's already ruled out. Vidal's questionable. So like my Chargers running backs, I don't know who's gonna start. I don't think I'm gonna play anyway from the Chargers. To be honest, there's gonna be games where I'm probably just gonna cancel out those whole teams because it looks kind of like it's gonna be an S show.
Last week I got to give you absolute credit. You were not on Schultz and you were not on Nico Collins.
Yeah,
both those guys ended up.
And I was on Higgins.
And Higgins, yes, Higgins was the big thing. And having those fades in a 2-gamer, or what was that, 3-gamer, right?
Yeah, 3-gamer. Yeah.
Were so perfect, and I know that your Chargers didn't get it done, but glad to see some DFS success on that Saturday slate.
Yeah. Oh man, that was the thing that really took me down. Is I was on McConkey, and if I was just like faded McConkey, and played literally almost anybody else, like I would have been fine. But I did fade Nico and Schultz on a lot of my teams, which did work out, and I had Malik Willis on all of my teams.
Yeah, it was good stuff. And let's go ahead and talk about this massive. What is it? 10 games that we got, I believe, right? I think it actually might be. Well, we got 2, we got 3, so it's a 13 gamer. 1, 2.
It's a big one, yeah. It's a big one.
A massive slate here. I really wanted to kind of go over while we're doing the show what teams are playing for. A lot of people do these player incentives, and I get that. I think there is a little bit of juice to that, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But for prop betting and stuff, the books know that. All right, don't act like you're beating the books by getting Keenan Allen 6 catches, and he's been vocal about it this week. If Keenan's 6 catches are like plus 300 or something like that, Felix, I'll be all over that.
Yeah,
but, I can see it being juiced because just for an example, just in college football, a guy needed like 91 yards or 100 and something yards. He never averages 100 yards or whatever, and he was like minus like 200 for it. It's just like the books know the incentives, and his incentive was being the all-time ACC record. I think it was Jacob DeJesus for Cal, but like it was some record that he was going for where the odds were just juiced up beyond belief.
Yeah, for instance, just for instance, like this would be a terrible play. Nick Chubb, 94 rushing yards. Like that is a terrible. Like they're not going to get that. It's just not going to happen. Like that incentive is just out of reach for what they do right now.
Absolutely, and good evening, Christian. Happy New Year to you as well, man. 2026. hopefully it's as good as 2025. I feel I don't want to brag, but I did get an NBA winner. I did get another 100K on the 30th. I got the
what?
It might have been $18 on DK on the 30th.
Dude.
Yeah, we ended the year strong. We ended it, so we have to pay taxes on it. So great stuff.
Yeah, it's all right though. You better. You might, if you're going to pay taxes on all of it, you might as well pay taxes at once. You don't have to pay.
Yeah, that was just the most condescending way to look at something in life. I have to pay. It's like Shawshank Redemption, right? You win the lottery, the guys, the policeman's just bitching about it now.
Yeah, I played all my. I looked at my stat sheet from. I had a fairly decent win on the 31st at I played I think it was the 9 o'clock slate, and it cashed out at 11. So I thought they were going to on my stat sheet. I don't know how it's going to work out, but do I have to claim that on? Is that going to go towards this year or is that going to go towards next year?
Luckily,
my stat sheet says it's for this year.
The sites will do it for you because whatever they send back to you, and you can double check it. But you're probably going to see that discrepancy and be like, "What's going on?" I'm not too worried about this next year, but it will be fun to see. Hopefully everything gets solved in that world. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about the NFL slate. Colts Texans is our first game, and you talk about incentive. Well, the Colts have ran out of it, and the big thing being Phillip Rivers not going to be with the team anymore, retiring once again after a 5-year hiatus. He showed everyone he's still got it, just a little bit. That defense, though, has been Swiss cheese, and last week they put up a decent fight. However, I think Phillip Rivers leaving is kind of the knockout blow. It's a brutal matchup, Felix, and to avoid over talking on this slate, 13 games. I am not playing Colts really at all. And real quick, I do want to address Alex Henderson's comment. Hey, gents, will you guys do the same show for playoff slates or last rodeo of the year? You know what? That's a good point. I did not make sure to mention that, but this is the last rodeo of the season for Felix and I. This is the Millie Roundtable. This is the last one because we won't get too many Millie makers at all to begin with. But, we get one last Millie maker for the regular season and maybe a couple for – I know the Super Bowl will definitely be a Millie, but I'm curious to see how many we get. But, that's the last rodeo here. Felix, talk to me about some Colts and Texans.
It's if you're going to play anything, I'm pretty interested on the Texans defense. Because their defense is elite. They're probably going to want to get in looking hot. They killed my Chargers, even though we had one of the worst, obviously, defenses, offensive lines out there. But they showed why they're also one of the worst. They dominated front to back. Riley Leonard's out there. No offense to this kid, he has some good running ability, but that's just going to get him obliterated by Will Anderson. I can see him throwing a couple pick sixes here. So I'm really high on the defense. And maybe that causes more opportunity for the Houston to have more scored points this week. But their offense is kind of anemic as well. I'm kind of out on the Colts in general on the offensive side. I do think their offense actually sets up the Houston D. I will say on the Texas side, I do like Woody always at this 58 price range. Again, Nico can get there. It's just at this at 7,000, and there's going to be plenty of places to spend up. I don't know if that's the player I want to spend up for. There's people in future games that I do like that are still at a high price tag, and I don't really feel like spending up for Nico.
Yeah, I think the thing for people to know too, the Texans can still win that division.
Yeah,
but it would take the Jacksonville Jags to lose
the Titans, which they can
this game. Yeah, they definitely can. But I also think that this loosely could definitely be DeMeco Ryans being like, you know what, we're up 14. Jags are up 14. I'm liking the way the guys are looking. I want to keep them healthy going into the playoffs. And Woody Marks split time with Jawar Jordan last week. I think that kind of happened. Woody Marks has been incredibly fragile this year too. Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, Jaden Higgins. The only guys that this is a game that's honestly, other than the Texans defense, like you mentioned, I'm completely staying away from. And I know the Colts defense has been bad. I did end up stacking against them last week with Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. I went with Jacoby Myers over Parker Washington, which was the wrong move. Parker is just an absolute dog. But I do think that it's a double-edged sword with if the Texans go up by a decent bit early, that they could really relax in that second half with the goal of just getting healthy. And if the Jags are winning by a decent amount too, the goal for this Texans team is probably just accept the 5 seed, go into Pittsburgh or Baltimore and win. Or, if they do smell blood in the water, that could happen. But yeah, I don't anticipate that. And I'm out on this game entirely outside of their defense. And just for what it's worth, throwing it out there, I like Riley Leonard as a quarterback. I don't know if it'll translate in the NFL, but he's an alpha. He's an alpha. He was an alpha.
Dude, he reminds me of Tim Tebow, man. Like, that's what he reminds me of. Just a winning quarterback.
That's probably the biggest thing. He's definitely more like a Tim Tebow. I think you could also see it too if you really want to like dissect this game. Is like, how often do they run the ball? With him and Jonathan Taylor. Are they going to try and steal this game? It'll be interesting. But yeah, this game overall just gross. And we'll move on to Green Bay and Minnesota. You mentioned it, JJ McCarthy potentially being back for this one, which is incredible. I thought he was out for the year. You thought he was out for the year. And they're going against Green Bay, who quite literally has nothing to play for, right? They're locked into the 7th seed.
Yeah, where did I see that? I swear I did see it earlier. I don't see it on the
I don't see him I don't see him with an out tag. I'm going to go ahead and just check this out real quick, too.
Yeah, let's see here. Well, it just says under the Underdog NFL. It says JJ McCarthy, right hand, will start week 18.
Yep, you're exactly right. So Brosmer wouldn't even be the starter. I don't know how much interest you're going to have in this game, but it could be said that, how many times in the past have we seen a team, right? I'm just talking about any team, have nothing to play for. All the Chiefs last year, remember the Chiefs? Chiefs week 18. Oh, yeah. How many points did they give up to the Broncos? Off the top of your head, how many points do you think they gave up to the Broncos?
42.
42. Yeah, I think it was 38.
I was told my first guess was 34 to 42, and I'm like, that's not very
38. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was a beatdown.
So, people see the Vikings, and they're going to be like, oh, it's gross. JJ McCarthy starting. He hasn't been good, blah, blah, blah. What universe did the Green Bay Packers potentially give up 35 when they're on the road playing for absolutely nothing, trying to get healthy, a team that's been beaten up a lot, Jordan Love and Malik Willis. I mean, Malik Willis, if he is not starting, he's been incredible when he plays too. Like, for what it's worth, like the drop off from Love to Willis is like almost non-existent. That's complimentary to Willis because he's been so good. It's not derogatory toward Love. And honestly, who did they just sign? It was Desmond Ridder, right? It was Desmond Ridder. No, I think I got Ridder mixed up with someone. It's Clayton Tune.
Clayton Tune. He's a mobile quarterback.
Houston, yeah. And this is the funny thing is you get a bad quarterback, you get field position. The Vikings have been playing for nothing for weeks, right? And all of a sudden, it's a sneaky 30 spot for this Vikings team. And I know that sounds absurd. No Aaron Jones.
Ty Chandler is listed as the running back right here, but Jordan Mason is I think is probable, not listed on the injury report. I think this is a sneaky play for Jordan Mason.
So yeah, just comparison. Like I would rather pay $5,200 for Jordan Mason without Aaron Jones, and I know Ty Chandler can be a factor. Xavier Scott can also be a factor. It was Chandler who got the work when Jones went down.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, with Mason potentially being in, I think the Vikings can put up 30 points. That's just at the end of the day. I want to go against teams that are playing for nothing, and I want to stack teams with no ownership that are playing for pride. And the Vikings are more so playing for pride. JJ McCarthy is playing for something. He wants to show the world he still got it. Justin Jefferson probably still is like, I could have done this all year type vibe.
Yeah, and he publicly supported his quarterback, saying he should be the quarterback for next season.
Yes.
So, some good vibes out there for 9 in the squad.
Yep, 100%. And, are you kind of on this same boat too, where the Vikings defense at 3K and the Vikings are your only interest, or do you have any interest potentially in Green Bay at all?
I'm interested in all of Minnesota because they're going to come in really cheap. Like all their pieces are going to come in cheap. This defense has been kind of lacking. And then on the other side, honestly, I wouldn't be mad if we played a Malik Willis with just a Jordan Mason or a Malik Willis with just Justin Jefferson. Like you can play any pieces from this game and it's going to make sense, I think.
Yeah, I really wonder what the quarterback.
If Malik Wilson plays, if Malik Willis plays, I'm definitely going to be a part on that.
Alex, this is that's a fun question. I do think Brian Flores gets a job this year.
I do think
he's not blackballed by the other NFL owners, because that whole situation in Miami was about as
I don't know where he goes. I think he could easily be in Cleveland.
Oh, gosh, I would actually, I could see Cleveland doing it. I like him too, so I don't want him to land in Cleveland as a Bengals fan.
Yeah,
especially Stefanski. I think he'll get another job right away too, because I just think the whole Deshaun Watson scenario and everything around it. Baker Mayfield. I talk about a messy organization, but my thing with Malik Willis, if they say that he's good to go and Jordan Love's completely healthy, I could trust it. But I do think that they're just going to completely bubble wrap this game. It'll almost look like a Pro Bowl type effort, It's just like I'm worried for their star players, and I'm not on Matthew Golden at 3,800 all that much, but he'd be like the only Packer that I care for, because I think at running back, Emmanuel Wilson's going to split.
I agree. He's going to split.
Yeah, not get an entire load, right? And Josh Jacobs, I'd be shocked if he played. So it's like, it's just a lot of stuff where, on Friday night that we're kind of guessing. Yeah. But, I think a lot of it makes sense. And a lot of teams that have given up a lot of points already this season, a lot of Week 18 matchups, more specifically last year, because we just went to 17 games just recently. But last year, some lopsided games from good teams, like the Chiefs losing 38-0, even 325 yards and 4 touchdowns to Bo Nix because they didn't want to face Joe Burrow in the playoffs. That was the stuff. We'll move on from this game to talk about some Joe Burrow, and that is the Cleveland Browns taking on the Bengals. My eyes popped out of my head when I saw the Bengals team total here. I know the Browns are not, the same defense that they were to start the season, but I do think that this is a little bit aggressive team total on the Bengals, especially after they played the Steelers incredibly tough. What was it, 13-6? I know the Steelers didn't have.
Well, I say the Steelers literally had no one to throw it to. But
to be fair, like DK Metcalf's been terrible all year, though. So it's like, what do they really lose? They lost a big body wide.
Well, they lost him. They lost Darnell. They lost a lot last week.
Yeah, Darnell getting hurt. I did forget about. Or was that 2 weeks ago?
That was last week. Yeah, he broke his arm last week. Yeah.
And I mentioned it. I said this to a friend in a text. I said, "Be prepared to play Freiermuth and Smith on the showdown Sunday night. That's all we're gonna do, because no DK. Who's Rodgers gonna throw it to? But we'll save that.
Good old Adam Thielen, boy. It's his.
12. I bet his over last week was 19.5. That missed.
No, I'm sure it missed. Yeah.
The Browns that held the Bills to 23. The Bears game was the one that 31-3. You have Miles Sanders still going for that milestone. That milestone being the all-time sack leader. The Bengals to run the ball.
Myles Garrett. You said Miles Sanders. I was really thrown off.
Oh my God, Myles Garrett.
I'm like scrolling through the thing. I'm like, what was Miles Sanders right?
He's going for the sack record. My favorite best ball running back.
He needs to get it for sure. He'll get it too with this offensive line.
They've been better. They've
gotten better across the board, but I still think he's
Jekyll
just Miles.
Though. 0 points against the Ravens, but if you look at the last 5 weeks, they're a top 5 offense. It's so funny. Yeah. Like Cardinals defense, are you talking about a team that is quit defensively? The Cardinals are one of those. And the Bengals look great against the Cardinals, against the Dolphins. I think that both teams want to win this game. Like, I'm not ruling out. I think Stefanski doesn't care. He's going to gun for it, because at the end of the day, I don't think he thinks he'll be in Cleveland next year.
I don't think so either.
If you were truly tanking, you do what the Raiders do and bench your best players and say they're hurt when they're not really hurt. But I think that
he's coaching for a new job. That's what he's doing.
Correct, exactly. And I think the Bengals defense at 3,400. I cannot believe I'm saying it, but we're full circle at the beginning of the year to now. But I like the Bengals defense at 3,400. Shadur has been bottom of a lot of metrics EPA wise, and that offensive line's not great. If you were to have success, I wouldn't be shocked. But I'm not going to be banking on it this week.
He's looked good in the pocket though. Like his pocket movement has been really nice, real smooth in the early parts of the game. But something happens in the second half of games, he just wants to just run backwards a little bit and get out of the pocket as fast as he can. I don't care for him in the second half of games, but he's looked better each week. I think he's a viable play. I'm not excited to play him, but I think he's a viable play with him. Him losing, he lost the tight end Harold Fannin last week to the groin. I don't know if he's playing this week. Probably not, but I think Jerry Jeudy here provides a nice little floor. I'm gonna be all over this Bengals team though. I don't know if you got into it, but I'm gonna be all over them.
Yeah, I was just gonna kind of gloss over the Browns real quick. No Kashawn Judkins, so you're gonna have Sampson and Sanders kind of split for the most part. Sampson being a decent talent out of Tennessee, Raheem Sanders being Rocket Sanders from, I believe it was Arkansas.
Yeah,
his last season in college football. There, no Fannin, right? So I think this is going to be a little bit difficult, but if you can run the ball against this Bengals team still, so if there was an interest, it might be more around Sampson. I am worried that, what was it, last week almost felt like an even split, right? Sampson had 11 carries, Rocket had 8.
Yeah, I bet his receiving over, and he that was a disappointment, that's for sure. He didn't get any yards after contact. He was I bet his receptions, and then I also bet his receiving over, and that was, I didn't realize how much involvement Sanders was going to be.
Yeah, without Shedeur having Fannin, right? I think like Jerry Jeudy could be the one with the usage influx.
I think it will be, yeah.
But other than him, I mean, Malachi Corley, talented receiver out of Western Kentucky a couple of years ago, but it's bleak. It's bleak off on the offensive talent side of things for Cleveland. Bengals side, you might have a little bit more interest than me. Who do you see?
I think they want to finish Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow like on a super high note going into the next year. So there's no questions about their excitement. There's no questions about their team chemistry. I do think they want to end on a super high note. I think you could probably bet, Chase, Brown, and Higgins all a touchdown this week. I mean, I was probably wrong because this defense is still good, but we're talking about like this, it's not going to be a high pace team like a game. There could be some turnovers leading to easy scores. We saw it last week. Like, they just punched it in when they got super close. They threw it in from a good distance last week. I think you can kind of bet on all three major core to score this week.
Yeah, I mean, the Browns' rushing defense has been the problem in recent games, right? Chase Brown has been scoring touchdowns at an absurd rate. So, I think I'm with you there. I think Chase Brown, 7,600, probably won't be that high owned at all. Samaje Perine has been working himself into the rotation a decent bit, even scoring one of the first 2 touchdowns last week for the Bengals. I can see them ending on a high note. It's just, the reason why I would play Jamar Chase is because I think you're getting that high floor with Joe Burrow. Like last week wasn't even one of his best games, and all of a sudden, he just kind of quietly had a 7 for 60 and 2. And
a nice little 27-pointer.
Yeah, exactly. And so you get those, fantasy point 9 for 109 and then 10 for 132. It's not like they're going to go away from him. I just worry about the absolute, peak that we just saw from this team where they beat the hell out of the Cardinals, beat the hell out of the Dolphins, and even against the Ravens, Jamar Chase got there. It's just Jamar, really, from me. And I think I'm going to stay away from Chase Brown 7,600, but I'll have a little bit. I'll probably be even with the field, if anything.
Yeah, I'm going to go in the Millie Maker. I'm probably going to go with an overstack here. And
it's been working. I mean, it's been working.
Yeah.
Titans taking on the Jags. Jags needing a win to retain the 3 seed, right? The 3 seed is the one that they got right now.
Yeah.
Yep. So, which is funny because they in theory could get the 1 seed, right? If both teams lost.
I can't remember.
I thought it opened up the door where
I don't think there's really any shot because the Chargers are sitting everybody. So
there's no shot. But if the Broncos and Patriots lose and the Jags win, they would hop into the 1 seed.
Yeah.
If one of those 2 teams lose, they would.
Liam Cohen for Coach of the Year, I feel like should be a lock. I know it's not going to be, and I'm sure it's going to go to somebody else, but Liam Cohen should win Coach of the Year.
If one of those teams lose, they can even get the 2 seed. Not that matters too much. They want to win. They want to secure the division more than anything. Yeah, the Jags, I think it's interesting too, just because they've been so dominant that I feel like Liam Cohen, you're exactly right, Coach of the Year, I think is deserving.
Yeah.
I will say what Shanahan has done with the rotating quarterback thing.
That's hard to dispute there. Yeah.
There's definitely a couple great coaches out there, and there's a lot of bad ones. I mean, gosh, look at UC. Look at University of Cincinnati today, Satterfield. Dude hasn't had a more than 8 wins since like 2018. He's got Louisville and Cincinnati under his belt over the last 8 years. Crazy to me.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, though, this is like where the only concern would be margin of victory for me. And at that point, once they score 31, who's getting there, who's not getting there? They're probably all getting there, right? So like I think it would be a slightly more non-factor for me personally, rather than the Texans who, they win, they don't really gain anything if the Jags win, right? So if the Jags win, they have to win to win this division. The Texans, they may not move even with a win. So that's why I'm like a little bit more skittish on the Texans, but slightly more bullish on the Jags. You do get the absolute connection that has been on fire over recent weeks with Parker Washington and Trevor Lawrence. This Tennessee Titans team, you talk about a team that, I mean, offensively, I think they're figuring things out. But defensively, they're still in the basement for me, right? Like 34 last week to the Saints. They look good against the Chiefs, and then 37 against the 49ers, 29 against the Browns. So even last time they played 25-3. So there should be a lot of points. I'm fine with Lawrence stacks because of how great he has been. You flip it over to the Tennessee Titans side of things here, Felix, and honestly, DK didn't look terrible last week.
It's like I think I'm gonna be on DK pretty high next year in best ball. He's look good.
Yeah. Well, 4 for 55 last week, a 38-yard catch did help some things. Chigokonko with a 43-yard touchdown catch.
Dude, did you watch that touchdown run? Dude, it was monstrous.
I did not even watch it. That was funny.
Oh, it was crazy explosive.
It's funny. I think Parker Washington's my number one, Alex. And then I think it should come in mind. But I don't watch BTJ, man. I don't even think he's not. He's the third best wide receiver on that team. I just genuinely eye test and everything.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Alex. I kind of want to try BTJ out this week as well. I think maybe try to get him on track going into the playoffs. I think that's going to be the scariest team in the playoffs. I thought it was going to be the Texans, but their offense is so trash.
Yeah,
like exactly what I told you was going to happen last week with those Texans. I said they're going to start out really strong, but that defense is going to figure it out, and they're going to stop them. And what happened after they scored those 2 touchdowns? They scored 3 points or 6 points after that? It's like I feel like they're a scary team, but I think this Jag is a scary team in the playoffs, and I think they're going to dominate the Titans, unfortunately. But I don't think it's like you're going to want any pieces. I think it's going to be like a little piece here, a little piece there. That doesn't. It's not going to be 24% ownership to Travis Etienne kind of feel to it.
I don't like that ownership.
I don't like it either.
And that's the thing too, is I don't want to get too focused on ownership here because
it's going to change so much.
Yes, and Tootin could easily play a bulk of that second half too. That's why I'm kind of slightly less bullish on the running game, but the passing game, I just I can be convinced on Parker Washington absolutely crushing it. Jacoby Meyer. The Titans side though, the Jags are a little bit of a pass funnel, so it'd be DK and Ayo Manor, but. For what it's worth, Tony Pollard has absolutely been the alpha in that room.
He has incentives. He has incentives.
All right, we got our first incentives call. I'm actually here for this one because he has been getting a ton of work too.
What I'm excited to play him because he has 66 yards rushing to get to 250,000, and if he has 2 rushing touchdowns, it's another 250K. I think they got nothing else to do. I think they could be shoving it down Jacksonville late, even if they're getting blown out. I feel like they're going to just be handing it to Tony
that's
Pollard.
The funny part, dude. He's going against the second string defense, trying to earn 250. Yeah, I respect
the $500,000, man. That's really if he gets both of it.
100%. It's just like if there was a matchup where I didn't want him to get 66 yards, I'd probably pick the Jags at the top of that list. But I was really mad at myself for playing Genty last week in my main single entry, and I think I was even heavy on him in MME, which hindsight 2020, how many guys are getting similar work in a very similar spot? And Pollard was one of those last week. Only did 10.5 fantasy points 11.5 fantasy points if you're playing on DK. But that's the type of leverage that you can get on week 18. I don't want to play too much chalk. That's where I really felt like I went wrong last week, Felix. And a guy like Pollard at 1% compared to, guys who could be, 30% on this slate. I just, especially let's just kind of talk about it here. Tank Bigsby, for an example, at 20%. Eagles haven't had success all year running the ball. Would you rather take a chance on Tony Pollard at 1%, right? In the same price range. So that's one focus that I wanted to bring up on this show was, don't be afraid to get unique in week 18 because a lot of teams are going to put up a lot of points and a lot of guys are going to get a lot of opportunities.
It feels like preseason. I don't know if that's what it feels like. I think we just talked about it earlier, but it feels like preseason. We don't know anything that's going to happen. We don't know everybody coaches strategy.
Someone who does projections for preseason. This is my favorite element.
So this is going to be a good barometer, I think, going forward for a lot of coaches. Like, we're going to learn a lot about these coaches, that what they do in week 18, because a lot of these coaches haven't really done it. And a lot of these coaches haven't been in this position that they're in. I think we're going to learn a lot about these coaches for even next year.
Yeah, 100%. Saints taking on the Falcons. Ooh, you're talking about the Bucks needing a big result here.
Yeah,
big time result. And the thing that also made me mad too is they didn't put the Bucks game at 1 o'clock, or this game should have been at 4 o'clock.
They took all the games that mattered and put them on prime time.
Yeah, and it was like one of those things where that result, and they should have been played at the same time. It's my pet peeve. They're going to be playing at 4:30 on Saturday. Yeah. But it's like their destiny's not in their own hands, right? So it's like, why are they not playing at the same time when another result impacts them greatly? And that's what I had a problem with last year with the Bengals playing the Steelers on Saturday night when the Chiefs knew that result. Not that they cared to win at all or anything like that, but you'd rather go against Bo Nix in the playoffs than Joe Burrow. I mean, that's just logic right there. So a team like the Saints and Falcons, those two teams, and probably it could be mean for nothing if the Panthers win anyway. But this game has a lot of incentive on the NFC South title. Both teams playing incredible football. The Saints more so, but the Falcons taking on the Rams last week and getting the dub. I like Bijan a decent bit, but I'm not going to get married to him here. Like, the game he had last week against the Rams was incredible, Felix.
It's a unicorn, kind of. He could definitely repeat that, but it's a little too much to think that he's going to repeat that.
I liked Taysom Hill a lot last week.
Did you?
He started the game at tailback. He had 0 fantasy points. All right, so this is his last game, I think, right? Is he retiring after this?
I'm not touching it with the 10-foot pole. I don't care what he's projected for. I could be wrong. I'll fade him for his last career game because he ain't going anywhere.
This is his last career game. You want to know my favorite prop for Sunday? It's Taysom Hill rushing yards. He legitimately started at running back last game. He got the first carry out of the backfield with Tyler Shuck handing him the football. All right, at 2,700 on DK with a lot of cheap tight ends. I'm not going to get that carried away with it. But yeah, I'm betting his touchdown prop. I'm betting his rushing yards. That's that. You know who I'm definitely not playing? It's Audric Estime. I
was thinking you play Estime. No.
Yeah. The thing with Estime, I guarantee you that it's going to be a little bit like a JV football game where it's like, get Taysom in there.
Okay, Chris Olave's already out. I didn't realize that. Okay. Yeah.
Olave being out too. This really impacts. So
Ronnie Bell's out there. Oh my God, that's my guy.
Michigan. Dante Pettis passed the eye test in preseason last year for the Bears, and then he got hurt. But then he even came back. I think last week he even had an okay.
Dude, I took down a showdown tournament with him when he was on
49ers.
It was the Commander. It was dude, it was so long ago. But I took down a showdown tournament where he had like a 46-yard reception. I think it was the Commanders. Now I'm thinking about it. Or maybe it was the 49ers. It was the Bears, maybe. I don't know. It was
24. He had some games last year. It's got to be.
It was like 3 years ago.
2022 was against the Commanders. He went 4 for 84 and 1.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
It was like a 12-7 game. He was probably the optimal captain in that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, 4 for 84 and 1. He was the top scorer on that slate. That was against the Bears, against the Commanders on the Bears.
Okay, that's like you had to remember it. I was like, oh, Dante Pettis. I love Dante Pettis. I played him. Like that tournament.
As someone who's played Mason Tipton on the main slate before, this is also notable. They're literally down their top 3-4 wide receivers, right? Because you got no Devon Vele, you got no Olave. They traded Shaheed.
Yeah.
So Dante Pettis last week had a decent game. The guy when I have been watching these games, Kevin Austin actually looks halfway decent.
I agree.
3 for 53 last week for Pettis, and the guy who also shined, like I said, Kevin Austin, 4 for 52 and 1. Even before Olave was out or whatever, he also had 2 for 18 and 3 for 33. I don't know how much you're going to need a 3K wide receiver, but I do think that these are two good bets for they're going to play the entire game. And Shuck has been looking amazing. The Falcons defense has been a little bit more gettable in recent times. I still like that defense, don't get me wrong, but I do think the Saints are in such good form that I like the passing game a little bit, and I like Bijan from this one here. Felix, what do you think?
I'm in the same boat. I was a notable Tyler Shuck absolute hater in the preseason. Now, you won't see me changing my opinion that often unless I actually really think I'm wrong. Like, I still think Caleb Williams is a terrible quarterback, and I'm probably going to stick with that until I see otherwise. Tyler Shuck has changed my opinion drastically. He actually looks like he can run and throw the ball with accuracy. But if you'd seen him in the draft process throwing to absolute air, like it was absolutely embarrassing. And now, like, he looks like a solid, like 18th ranked quarterback. Like he's not going to be in the top 15 or in any good charts, but he looks respectable out there and definitely fantasy viable with his legs.
Yeah, fantasy viable with his legs. He's been running the ball a ton with his feet, which is great to see. I mean, that's how you run. Juwan Johnson and Kyle Pitts, these are the two of the tight ends that, honestly, I think, are they your top two tight ends this week overall? They are. Well, I forgot McBride's on the slate. They are two of your top three tight ends. What do you think about the tight ends from this game?
I've been playing a lot of Juwan Johnson lately, and with all these wide receivers being out, he might be the leading getter here. I played him last week. He did fairly well. It was like 12 points. It wasn't bad. He's gonna be solid. He's not gonna be a game changer, it feels like, but it does seem like they have enough of a connection that he's gonna get the good enough work. Pitts, dude, it's just too up and down now with Drake London back. I'd rather play the Falcon side of the other Falcon options than Pitts. He's a unicorn type player where you get that one matchup where it works out.
Wasn't that great last week, and it was an up and down script. I mean, it was a Bijan show for sure, but with London being back, the target share could just be a little bit messy. Who knows? Who knows who plays? With these teams playing for nothing, maybe London even gives it a break. Who knows, right?
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. We'll move on from that game and go to Dallas taking on the New York Giants. The Giants not having much to play for. The Cowboys, well, we got some insane chalk with Malik Davis and our guy Miles Sanders. No, I'm kidding. Javonte being out. Jaden Blue at 4,300 could be decently popular. I throw slight caution into the wind.
Dude, Hunter Lupke's there.
People laugh. People will laugh at that, and they're going to be wrong when they laugh about it, because when Javonte went down,
he was
the first half. Who was that against? When the Cowboys? It was the Vikings game, I believe.
It was the Vikings, or was it the Commanders?
JJ McCarthy ran a touchdown in, and I was sweating that slate, and I had Lepke. And when Javonte went down, Malik Davis, and he came back into that game for what it's worth. Malik Davis was still healthy, but Lepke was running on third down, and he was for Dak Prescott.
Lepke came in also for a little bit, I believe, in the Commanders game whenever Javonte got ruled out as well. I think that's what I was remembering.
That was the Christmas game. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are 100% right. And this is the thing, too, where Jaden Blue's a good play on paper. A lot of people are going to click.
Makes sense.
Look what Javonte has done, right?
Makes sense.
And they want to know what they got in Jaden Blue, too. He's been riding pine all year. Okay? 7 for 30 last week for Lepke on the ground. 1 for 14 in the air. I just throw slight caution into the wind where do you want to play a 50% owned guy, and the ownership could adjust greatly when he could just be relegated to where it's like 15 or 20 carries. And if you measure it up, if you're trying to win $1 million, you want to play a chalk guy who might not offer a ton in the pass game, like Javonte Williams didn't offer a ton in the pass game. And he might not run as good as Javonte Williams either. I just want to be slightly cautious. I mean, I'm probably going to be even with the field, right? I might even be a little bit under.
I'm going to be under.
A really aggressive projection right now from Saberson. And I think I'm going to be under too, just looking at this. And this Cowboys defense is still gettable. I mean, this if you want to go Tyron Tracy's looked great in recent weeks. You got no Wandale this week, which is big news. No, so you have Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins. You talk about a cheap wide receiver you can trust who's been around in the league for a while. I think that Dart could get him the ball. The problem is how much do they throw the ball? Because we have seen in games where they don't throw the ball that much, and with no Wandale, I worry how that could look. But yeah, I mean, let's flip it over to the Cowboys too. Not just talking about Jaden Blue, but like Lamb and Pickens. Same boat as Jamar for me. I like them both. I'm not going to get carried away with either, but I like stacking up the Cowboys where maybe the Giants give up 35 plus because the Cowboys offense is that good.
Yeah, I think I think Dak has a chance to be the leading pass yards getter and could have him pushing, a game script that the Giants may not be ready for, to be completely honest with you. But I do see them pushing the ball down the field early in this game. Maybe if they get up early, like it's like 28-14 at the half. Maybe they try, and they get a respectable amount of passing yards. Maybe they bring it back in and run it a little bit more. But I think it's gonna be guns blazing early for this Cowboys. If I was to put a bet down, I'd probably bet the Cowboys over, or like Cowboys money line or whatever, like for the first half, whatever it's called, and maybe even like their points over for the first half. But yeah, I could see Lamb and Pickens looking good here. Even Ferguson, like they can dominate this Giants defense through the pass game. I think. Yeah, I'm gonna be over the passing game pieces and not Jaden Blue.
That makes sense. I mean, it does. It does.
It's gonna be hard to be over, I guess, on CD Lamb at 30%, but
I'll trust it. It. I do think this is kind of fits the bill of where it just, it's division foes, but everyone's a division foe on this slate. But I think the Cowboys could sneakily put up 40 points, and not sneakily because they're going to be pretty chalky it looks, but the Giants defense has not been great, and you could easily run it back with a cheap Giant too to make sure that all fits. Even though I don't think you're going to have trouble fitting anything you want on this slate.
I think Singletary's in line for a touchdown. Either garbage time or even early. I the type of running back that kind of kills this Cowboys team is the hard hitting running back, and that's Singletary.
Yep. Marquee Sports, what's up, man? And should be a good one here. All right, Lions taking on the Bears. This game has no meaning, right?
No meaning. But the coach did say previously, Ben Johnson said they were going to play everybody.
It's interesting. Oh, this game does have the 2 seed on the line.
Oh, does it? Okay. It has no meaning. I bet it had no meaning for the Lions. That's what. What my brain said. Like it had no.
Campbell though, he wants to beat Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
This game, Bears need to retain the 2 seed, assuming that the Eagles were to win too, which the Eagles are resting some guys, right?
Hurts is out. Yeah, he's on my. So I'm one of the crazy people that plays fantasy football for our league on week 18.
No way.
I'm the man. I'm the owner or whatever. I'm the head chef. I've always thought about like this is the ultimate like actual manager job. You have to go out there and find free agents to play for your teams.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. I can't believe you would do that. No.
Oh, yeah.
Eagles still 4.5-point favorites despite resting everyone, which just shows that Ben Johnson's got to go through an absolute dogfight, and the Eagles are still somehow favored. They did upgrade at QB with Tanner McKee this week, but this is one of those games where I'm not going to get away from Jahmyr Gibbs at all. I'm not going to get away from ARSB. I do think that there is going to be a little bit of that, FU mentality from Dan Campbell. He wants to spoil the Bears parade. He wants to end on a high note too. Jared Goff took a lot of crap over Christmas Day against the Vikings, and not a whole lot of great vibes resonating out of the Lions camp. But I do think if there was a team that could respond and shut everyone up, it would kind of be this team here.
Yeah.
It's not a great spot, but I do think individually there's some pieces, but their defense has also been incredibly porous when they're not going against Max Brosmer. So, if you have interest in Caleb had his best game I've seen last week, and they lost. Not his fault at all. It was a great game.
Just want to point out, that was my heaviest stacked game going into best ball. And I was 100% right. If I would have made it to the finals, I would have made it so much money. I had Pearsall. I had Burden on so many teams. I'm like,
Burden was one of your favorite guys overall.
He was, yeah. And I'm like, I knew I nailed it. I may not have made it to the finals and won it all, but I know if I would have made it there, I would have won it.
Oh man, that game absolutely nuked, man. Just huge. And Loveland and Burden, those are two of my favorites here. You still got that split backfield with the Monungai where you don't really want to trust it too much on DFS World. But Burden, Loveland, Gibbs, and Amon-Ra, those four right there absolutely top my list. I think Jameson Williams would kind of be on that fringe piece. But overall, tough game outdoors, but I do think I like it a little bit here, Felix.
Yeah, this is definitely could be the high. Like the Cowboys game and this game are probably going to be the two highest scoring games of the week, or at least on paper, at least it should be.
What's the weather?
It must be nice. I mean, it's 60 out here in North Carolina, so I can only imagine it's not too bad out there.
29, just cold, not too windy either. So that makes sense. I'm just shocked. 50 total in January in Chicago.
I think the last time these two teams played, I think the Lions put up a 40 burger on them. So
Dan Campbell laid wood.
Yeah.
I like it. Do you want to talk about anyone else in this game before we move on?
No, I think we know the main pieces that we want to play here. It's been 17 weeks.
There's 1,425 games.
Yeah, which is nice. This is what they should do every week. It's like have two nice size morning and afternoon games. So make, if you want to play just the morning or you want to just play the afternoon.
This is your LA fan talking where, you're calling it morning at 1 p.m., not your North Carolina self, right? Yeah. You're in that Cali mode.
Yeah.
I got Central Time. I mean, that's noon, right? So you got Mountain Time, a lot of the morning, 11 a.m. Oh, my gosh. I couldn't imagine living out there.
Dude, I was out in Hawaii during football season one time, and that was wild. Waking up like 6 in the morning.
Yeah. So they're 5 hours back, 6 hours, I think, on, whenever the clock is, too. That's crazy. Yeah. Mike and Mike in the morning comes on at midnight, crazy stuff. Drake May and the Patriots, they're playing for the 1 seed loosely, right? So Broncos.
I want to see them in the first round.
Getting the benefit of Justin Herbert being rested, you can kind of assume that this is another game where Drake May could dominate for a half or 3 quarters and then kind of take it easy. The Bengals put up a huge crooked number against the Dolphins just a couple weeks ago. You also have it, too, where I don't really know what the future holds for Mike McDaniel, right? Could this be his last game? They played really well last week against the Bucs. It's a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde. I think overall, though, Felix, I'm treating it in the same sense of the Texans, where they don't benefit for sure by winning. Oh, they do benefit for sure. Because don't the Jags have the tiebreaker in that sense? Hold on. Yeah, the Jags would have the conference tiebreaker. So I guess I'm a little bit more on the Patriots side. It's just with no real stacking option. I didn't like Kyle Williams last week after the news that Butte and Mac.
Well, if you want another incentive, which he was in the news this week.
Diggs, yep. It's go over it, yeah.
Stephon Diggs needs 30 yards to receive $500K. He needs 8 catches to reach another $500K. And if he hits 130 yards, it's another $500K.
He's going to get it because he needs it.
He's going to need it after whenever he gets sued by. Dude, I think, honestly, I'm not like trying to go against these B2 people or whatever. Like, there was an announcement on the radio, like if he gets his touchdown, it's like a $1 million bonus or whatever. I think some of that got back to that other person and like, let's go after him now. He just got the money, and that's just my conspiracy hat. We believe everybody, everything's right, whatever. But I ain't trying to play any sides.
Oh yeah, they were kind of the Patriots for a little bit. Mike Vrabel at least was bothered by questions about Diggs about it too.
It's just weird how it came up. It was like something that happened in February.
I didn't know that it happened in February. I just assumed that it happened like this week. So Drake May, Trayvon Henderson, Stephon Diggs from Andre Stevenson. Stevenson went off. I was mad that Stevenson went off because I thought he was a lock if Travion missed. Didn't miss. It was the ROM show last week regardless. 5,600. I hate playing split backfields, but we have seen
same.
success where they've been in the winners. Like, it's the same reason I don't really like Swift and Monungai all that much. It's because, it's just, I don't really like guessing who's going to be it. But if I did have to pick one, if Ramondre's coming in under 5%, he'd be the guy, just because they might want to keep. They've been almost keeping Travion on a pitch count all season, it feels, except when Ramondre was actually out. Henry at 4,500. If I'm stacking up May, Diggs, Henry, and then Butte would kind of be in that mix of those three. I don't love doing it. And on the Dolphin side of the ball with Quinn Ewers playing quarterback, I don't like anyone. So make it easy.
Henry also has one as well. 5 catches is $250K.
That I can see that too.
I can see that.
More popular.
Catch a couple short ones. Yeah.
Yeah. A-Chain being doubtful too. I think I forgot to bring this up.
I feel like if he's listed as doubtful now, I think it's more out.
Yeah, 100%. And with Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon, I think you could assume a 60-40 split where Wright. This is where it's like Jaden Blue is going to be a much better play than a Jalen Wright, but Jalen Wright could easily outperform him at a fraction.
And he's looked good.
Yeah, Tennessee guy. You got Ollie Gordon, who was one of the best running backs in the nation at Oklahoma State. Mm-hmm. It's a tough matchup, right? At the end of the day, they're also implied 10 less points than the Cowboys, but they do want to run the ball. A-Chain's been great in this offense. When Wright and Gordon have gotten chances, they've done okay too. I think it's worth a shout. If you were to stack up the Patriots, maybe run it back with Wright and maybe this comes. Do
you know if Quinn Ewers is getting another shot at it, or do we bring in Zach?
I assume that it's Quinn.
It's Quinn. Okay.
I wouldn't mind seeing Zach Wilson.
I would love Zach, dude. He was my guy.
Yeah, I like Zach Wilson a little bit.
He needs to get another shot.
Yeah. Cardinals taking on the Rams. Puka, Nakua.
Beast.
So they're playing for the right to play the Eagles, right? Or can they move up? So what's the scenario here?
I hate all this playoff scenario stuff.
I'm going to the playoff predictor.
So that's where I'm going right now too.
I think they can hop I think they're impacted by the result of the Saturday game. This is also why I hate this stuff. All right, so if the Seahawks win, they become the 5 seed with the win. If the 49ers win, they become the 6 seed.
Yeah.
All right. We don't know what McVay is going to do we? Has he said anything?
I think if he's locked in at a spot, if he can't do anything to improve his position, 100% everybody's getting benched. Because that's the kind of – I mean, if you ever watched any of his preseason games, everybody gets benched.
So he said this. So, my favorite Coach Speak Index, Greg Branos, does a great job. He's got a Patreon out there for those who want to get into that Discord. On whether the circumstances of Saturday night Seattle-San Francisco game will change the way McVay approaches his starters for Sunday, he responded, no. What does that mean?
That means he already plans on not playing them.
That's what I was thinking, right? That's exactly what I was thinking was he's already decided that he's not playing Puka.
Yeah, he doesn't care whether he's the 5 seed or the 6 seed. He's like the Chargers. What does it matter?
You get Caleb or Jalen Hurts? Yeah, who cares? Bring him on. I love it. Well, wait, I'm completely wrong. Now I just look like an idiot. That's Bryce Young or Baker Mayfield. I think you would rather be the 5. Maybe he wants to do that, but if he's saying that it won't change his opinion at all, I do think that he's going to bench the starters. I just do.
I do too. I don't think any of this is right here with the Rams playing here.
So
but we could be wrong.
Yeah, we have a large sample with McVay being one of the Rams head coach. And what I like about utilizing samples, and I do this with preseason, I do it with everything. NBA coaches, all of the above, right?
Yeah, you should.
We have a sample of how has this team performed when they've rested starters. Well, last year, what do? They rested starters. They went against the Seahawks. The Seahawks were 10-7, right? And the Rams also finished 10-7. The Seahawks didn't make the playoffs last year, right? Yeah, no. They were playing for nothing. Stafford rested. Garoppolo went for 334 and 2. Jordan Whittington, 3 for 86. Shout out our guy. DeMarcus Robinson, 3 for 72. It was Ronnie Rivers who led the room with 12 for 48 in the rushing room. And on defense, they gave up 30 points to Geno Smith, gave up 4 touchdowns through the air. This is a Cardinals team that it may be one of the worst defenses to finish out the season by far. I'm pretty sure that Indiana Hoosiers could run the ball against them. I mean, my God. It's just absolutely brutal, game in and game out. They got the holes the size of Mack trucks just opening up the line of scrimmage. I hate to speak in like, we're going to assume that these guys miss. But if they do, and like Ronnie Rivers or Harquez Hunter is going to be the starter, sign me up for whoever starts. And it might be Harquez Hunter because they like him a lot. Ronnie Rivers might have a little bit more of a role too, whether it's special teams, whether it's being that guy behind Corum and Kyron where, if one of them get hurt, like we saw last game, it was Ronnie Rivers who ended up playing a little bit. So if Hunter plays a lot at 4K, I would have a ton of interest. I don't think I would have a ton of interest in, Jimmy G just because I don't know. I think I would.
I like Stenson. I like Stenson, man. I hope it's Stenson, not Jimmy G. I want to see Stenson out there, dude. One of my favorite players to watch play in preseason. When
he's out in the preseason, though. I hate him in the preseason.
Oh, he's so much fun.
Oh,
so much fun.
Well, so it's funny too because that game is an 8.5 spread right now. Pre-flop, you probably can't get as much down as you'd want or whatever, but like they're probably not gonna. I kind of want to take the Cardinals gut check right now.
Me too. Yeah,
8.5 is kind of crazy. Just reading between the lines. That's the nerd talking to us. Is like, if he's not changing his mind based on the result, he's not risking Stafford.
He's not risking Stafford this late in the season or Devontae Adams. Why? Like it's a practically meaningless. Why do that? I'd say we give a little bump to Kanata, honestly, or Xavier Smith.
Jordan Whittington and Xavier Smith. Those three would probably be the main guys to step up and play wide receiver for a significant portion of that game.
Corey
I think you could see Colby Parkinson rest a little bit. Texas Tech legend Mark Redmond. Terrence Ferguson looked great last week too. He always runs that wheel route. I swear to God, that's his only route in his tool bag.
Dude, I've been smashing him in the playoff best ball.
Oh my God, my guy! You see Corey Kiner. Oh yeah, Corey Kiner. This is funny because he ended up getting a decent amount of work last week. I wish I could play him. I just can't. I do think with Marvin Harrison being out, I think I'm going right back to the Michael Wilson well.
Why not?
Why not? Why not? They've been playing for nothing for weeks. Nothing's changed. They're going
nothing has changed with this team. They're going to go to Michael Wilson and Trey McBride. Yep. Just play that trio, and you're going to have a perfect floor. You can build everything you want around it.
That was the worst game I've ever watched, Alex. Was the worst half of football was watching them complete 3 passes for 14 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
Satterfield taking a 15-yard penalty instead of calling a timeout to end the half was even more done. I'm just done with UC football for the time being. And Swordsby gone. So, life as a UC fan is brutal right now. I'm 100% with you, though, Felix. Wilson, McBride, Brissett, Stacks. Yeah, again, a sneaky game where, they're not 15% for Michael Wilson in this role. Are you serious?
That can't be real, right? Like, legit, like, there is nothing more certain that those 3 pieces are going to do the same thing they've done for the last, 7 weeks now?
They're 7 weeks.
That meme, I don't know how long that meme's going to go around, but my daughter is hilarious. She goes into a full squat, looks like a crab.
Oh my
the 6'7". It's wild.
That's
But I think that they're an easy bet to do what they have been doing.
And you're exactly. Nothing's changed for them. They might get a backup defense against the Rams, a defense that made the Falcons look great last week. And I think if there was one thing where it's maybe Trey McBride is too expensive, he barely got there last week against them.
But we've gone over so many cheap pieces this week that I think there's no such thing as too expensive. You can find cheap. You can play Trey McBride, and if you really wanted to save money, play Taysom Hill at 2,700 or whatever he was at.
Oh my! I might stick to the props on Taysom after getting burned. I played him last week in fantasy. It was terrible. I played him over Michael Mayer. That was even worse.
That was the play too.
We didn't mention Jawan earlier, but Jawan's a great play at 4,200 as well. We did mention him.
I mentioned him. Yeah.
I was thinking, oh wait, we talked about Pitts and Jawan in that same game. I guess McBride is easily fittable. I think this is a sneaky game to have 55, 60 points in it.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be more if I was to bet, it's gonna be more. I'm more on the Cardinal side of putting up those kind of points, and it could be a walloping that if they
I don't
do
think
start,
I think their defense is that ass that they will give up a bunch of points regardless of playing.
I agree. I agree. But I think Seth Benson can keep him in there.
Jimmy G is such a better quarterback, though. For what
yes, Jimmy is a better quarterback, but maybe they just want to get him some regular season work,
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because I do think that all these Rams backups would firmly be in play too. I can see myself stacking it up.
Yeah, because now I'm like going back to it, like watching McVay play the preseason. He didn't even play the second string quarterback. He would play the third string quarterback.
Yeah. Well, last year he did go Jimmy G.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the one thing. Sample there, and I kind of want to go back to 2023 too. Did we get a sample there? I mean, I feel like we get a sample every single year.
Yeah, they've been pretty good for a while.
I don't. They were 9-7 going into that. How many times can you finish 10-7 in a row? My gosh! And that was Carson Wentz playing, and Ronnie Rivers getting the work, and they gave up 20 points against Arnold. It's actually crazy. Right? He just goes to the backup well. Because wait, was that the year that they had just a huge mess at quarterback, or was that 22? I'm trying to think of. It was 22, or Mayfield was the guy. So yeah, that had to be. Yeah, it was Stafford who started every single game until then. So they went to Wentz, who I presume was the backup there too. And then in 2021, I actually played a close game against the 49ers with Stafford starting. So, I think there's going to be points in it.
I think you might be right with the Jimmy G, but I have hopes for Stenson.
All right, Chiefs taking on the Raiders. Pacheco, RB1.
Ugly game.
I hate this game too. Genty is going to get the carry. No one's going to get a carry beside him. I hated the play last week in hindsight. I was just really mad at myself because, everyone's playing him. I don't want to play a guy like that. It's minimal pass catching upside for him. But, I mean, it's a low team total still. It was against the Giants. There was nothing really sexy about it except he had a great projection because of what he did 1 week ago where he had 2 huge plays. This week, the ownership's in 20%. It's a little bit more reasonable. But, again, I don't love it by any means. He's a generational talent. But this offense is lost for cause. Pacheco, 5,200. I think it is worth noting with Pacheco, it's just the usage rate has been up. If he is in this week, there's talk about potentially resting him, which why would you rest a guy that you clearly don't have a future for your team? I don't think that'll be the case. Maybe if they rest him, could it be more Brashard Smith?
I hope so.
Why would you rest Pacheco and not Kareem Hunt? You're playing for nothing. So it's a game that I don't love. Oladokin.
Whatever his name is.
I didn't watch the Christmas game.
I did. I
didn't watch it because I didn't learn how to pronounce his name. That was the one thing that I should have paid attention to. But it's a stay away game for me.
He actually didn't look bad, but then all of a sudden he looked terrible. To start the game, he looked okay. Looked fine. Was running around, looked kind of spry.
Yeah.
But then you look at the stat sheet, he's like 67 yards passing, and I'm like, yeah, that kind of looks about right because I think it was 67 passing. But it was pretty sad. I wouldn't touch anything with the Chiefs right now.
Yeah, I guess Hunt even got 7 carries, so Pacheco's 9, so it was still a little bit more of a split. It was 66, by the way, 66 yards passing.
Okay.
You're way off there. Yeah, now you ruined it. No, but it's a high team total. I mean, and the running back room is probably going to be a little bit of a split. Could even see more Brashard Smith. If Pacheco is out, I don't think I would have interest in Kareem Hunt even. I'm trying to think. What would the path be for Kareem Hunt in that case be? Would he actually get 20 touches? That would be your path because I don't got any interest in the wide receivers. You flip it over to the Raiders. Trey Tucker and Michael Mayer I can be slightly convinced on just because their usage is going to be really high in the pass game. But it's an ugly game, and I don't really want a ton of pieces from it.
So I just was looking at that Broncos Chiefs game. Brashard Smith got 3 receptions, on 4 targets. So he's viable there, but it's ugly. But this Raiders defense is so bad. I don't know. And on the other side, Genty. I fell for the trap. I was like, I'm in on it. It was one of the things I was excited for. Rookie, week 17, running back. Against this defense, and it doesn't really seem like, or doesn't feel like any of their starters are resting on their side. for the defense. So like they're pretty stout. I don't really want to attack the Chiefs through that way. So if I want to play anybody, it might be Trey Tucker or Michael Mayer, but there's a lot of tight ends I like outside of Michael Mayer. And it's Kenny Pickett, I believe. Yes. Yeah, the quarterback. So he's terrible. No.
He was terrible. He was terrible against the Eagles.
He is a terrible quarterback. So maybe they get to the I don't know who's the backup for Pickett. Like that might be something I'm interested in here. Aiden O'Connell.
He probably is. I mean,
he is better, to be honest with you, but yeah.
My favorite thing on the Chiefs is you mentioned that Rashard Smith thing, and I really want to check it out for props, was the fact that he had 4 targets, right, and 3 catches. Mm-hmm. My favorite thing is, did he actually get more routes, or did they just go to him 4 routes for 4 targets? And the thing is,
we had that touchdown, didn't he? Or no?
No, it's funny because that's been the case for him all year. Has been extremely limited snaps, yet he would get insane amount of targets in those snaps. Only 6 routes last week, 4 targets.
4 targets, 5 yards, baby. But one of them was a touchdown, so he couldn't go any further.
If you were to run like 13 routes or something like that, I'd be slamming his receiving overs where I could find him. But if it's only the 6th route, it doesn't seem like the role changed at all. It's just it's weird. I don't like.
In particular sense, he is something you could mix in there, I guess. Yeah. But at the same time, there's a lot of good backup running backs. Like I'm gonna be smashing Jordan Mason this week. It looks like more when I think about it, and I don't know.
Yep,
there's a lot better plays.
Definitely, not in this game. Jets taking on the Bills. Is there any incentives for James Cook?
Incentives. Let's see here. For the Bills, there is a lot of Dawson Knox ones. Let me see here. James Cook is not on here. Ty Johnson's on there.
So I think James Cook would rest too with Josh Allen. 100%.
Should, yeah. Maybe it's like the first drive they play.
That's what I'm wondering, because I'm looking at this right now. I want to see if he's played every game of his
career. And I could see him like focusing Dawson Knox, because if he gets a touchdown, it's 100K, 7 receiving yards, 100K, 6 catches, 100K. For Dawson Knox. Shakir has a lot too.
Yeah.
Maybe he plays.
I think he's played every game of his career.
Khalil Shakir has 8 catches, 150K. Khalil Shakir 1 tutty, 150, 2 tuds, 300K.
Absurd.
So
it's interesting to me because it was the Bengals game, I think. He's played every game of his NFL career except for the Bengals game.
Yeah.
No. He missed 1 game of his career. Yeah, I don't know why James Cook.
Who, Allen?
No, James Cook.
Okay.
Josh Allen's for sure sitting. No doubt.
No, I think he plays the first play to continue his like start streak or whatever.
Oh, like the Peyton Manning thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Trubisky, Ray Davis would be my guy. I could have a lot of because his role.
I think I'm gonna play Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson might be the play here.
Can you say his incentives one more time if you did?
His incentive was just 57 receiving yards, 125K.
I think that's a little far-fetched.
It's a little far-fetched, but if James Cook does sit.
My thing with James Cook and Ty Johnson is those guys are integral to their offense, right? Yeah. Ray Davis is not integral. And I love Ray Davis, Vandy, UK guy. I think he could have a huge game starting, too, at 4,900. I think he would get a lot of work. With Ty Johnson, though, it's like they might give him like a couple wheel routes, be like, yeah, go for Aquan, dude. Yeah, we'll throw you a jump ball, but like that's a lot. And it's got to be at least like.
But if Trubisky's back out there, like he kind of likes the check down. I just remember all the checkdowns he'd throw to that running back that could not stay healthy, but he was a smaller guy.
Risking his health, though, if you're doing a lot of checkdowns, right? Like,
yeah,
he's got 243 yards in the entire year. So that'd be asking for more than almost 23% of his current production, right? So it's like, it's up there. It's like,
but this defense is so bad. So, I mean, it's possible.
It is possible. That's why I would love Ray Davis if he started.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Receiving game and tight ends, I'd be out on. I think it would be an absolute mess outside of Ray Davis. And as far as like going against this defense, Breece Hall could definitely be a candidate for 6,200. But the problem is, like, what are the Jets going to do? Right? Is Breece Hall going to play this week? Listed questionable. So, like, it's a rough game, right? With Brees Hall being listed questionable, if they were to go to, is it Isaiah Davis behind him, right? Or no, it's Khalil Herbert and Keenan Wonga. Yeah, I mean, it's a wait and see. These 425 games, kind of a bust on the show where it's just like we don't really know who's going to play. There's a lot of uncertainty, but I think Ray Davis would be my favorite player from this game overall.
Yeah, I agree with you.
AD Mitchell.
I love AD Mitchell. I was starting to put like a little team together for Big T's little tournament thing. I was like, just put out like a little lineup out there. I did put Isaiah Williams on it. I'm like, he former quarterback for U of I. I was high on him last year in best ball. I was like as a 28th rounder.
Yeah,
he kind of worked out this year, but he has, he's part of that return game. They have been one of the best return teams out there in the NFL. Brady Cook's a very hit or miss quarterback.
Yep.
He's looked solid at 3,200 for that price. He's looked solid.
Yeah, and it's not the worst thing in the world at all.
But then you rely on Brady Cook. I don't really trust Brady Cook.
Yeah, that's a good point. You didn't like him lose the burden. I remember that.
Yeah, I truly trashed it the other weekend. I still stick by that.
Let's sum up these 425 games real quick, right? I know we still got a couple left. I'm not abandoning them.
Yeah.
Lions, Bears, both teams going at it. All right. Dolphins, Patriots. Patriots probably going at it. This game, meaningless. This game, probably being rested with the Bills, right? This game, basically meaningless with Hurts and all them are going to rest. So they still can they can still jump to the 2, right? So it's not completely meaningless, but at the same time, like.
Well, they already sitting their quarterback, so it doesn't matter.
Chargers, Denver, Justin Herbert sitting, right? So have a little bit of meaning.
Meaningless, but Trey Lance is out there.
It's funny. We're going to talk about Trey Lance in a second. That's like why these games are slightly gross as of right now, but we could have a lot more interest in on a Sunday morning. It's because of all this news that we could see happen Sunday morning. I wish that maybe we should have done the show tomorrow night, but we don't want to go against an NFL game.
That's my fault. That's my fault.
No, it's not your fault at all. As I also because we know, for those who don't know, like if a game's going on Saturday night, this show doesn't get a whole lot of views, right? And that's just the reality of it. So we give people a chance to watch it. I was 100% ready to go on this one too for tonight, Felix. It's definitely not your fault.
So I also don't think, no matter what happens, Sunday mornings when you want to make sure tune into your to the stats, the Saber Sim. Look for the RPS projections at 11, 11:30 or whatever. Hour and a half with your time. Probably even update it. A half hour before the lineups lock, and check it because that could be your best bet for the best information. Because there could be just late people saying I don't feel like it. Kind of deal. Just check out.
Well, the Rams thing, like we'd be on this show saying the exact same thing about the Rams and probably the same thing about the Bills. The Rams, they wouldn't know until probably midnight of what their situation is going to look like. And we might not know until the morning where Jay Glazer or Adam Schefter tweet out Stafford's not going to play. So, just for those, watching, it's like, oh, you guys aren't saying much, it's because we can't right now, right? Like it's tough to
so much
conviction on Ray Davis when James Cook hasn't been ruled out yet,
Yeah.
So much late swapping. You're 100% right, Alex. I'm not going to play 2 running backs from the same team on this slate, though.
But that would be common. Safest bet is that Cardinals trio. Safest bet out there. Cash easy.
Plays of the day at the end of this one. It's the last show. Commanders, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm kind of out on the Commanders unless it's one of these like Terry McLaurin and Debo. Do they have any incentives, those two in there?
Terry or Debo?
Terry's probably
Debo does have some. Debo, it's a little outlandish. Debo, 10 catches is $200K, 93 receiving yards, $450K, and 2 touchdowns, $250K for Debo Samuel.
I think the Debo 93 yards could be something, right?
That is about the only viable one. 10 catches a little wild, 2 touchdowns.
And again, I don't want to get carried away with a team that's nothing to play for against a team that has slightly something to play for. Debo would be like the only commander that I'd really have any interest in. And, hopefully Chris Rodriguez doesn't wake up tomorrow sick. from all the egg he drank the night before.
All right, and Saquon Barkley does have one. I highly doubt they try to do this based on them sitting people, but 87 all-purpose yards for 250K.
Oh, wait, hold on. He's not out yet, but is he going to be rested? If Jalen Hurts is getting rested,
if Jalen Hurts is getting rested, I'd assume he would, but maybe he wants his little 250K bump. And I forgot to say, but Kareem Hunt had one for 31 scrimmage yards, 25K, which is don't know how much they care about that kind of much money.
Yep. Who prioritizes the bye week? So Sirianni's going to rest Saquon.
Yeah, I would assume he's going to rest Saquon. Yeah.
Tank Bigsby, thoughts?
I mean, probably one of my higher owned running backs in best ball before he got traded. I actually liked Will Shipley a lot going into the season. So it's actually a combination of like a Travion Ramondre right here. Like you got the tank and Ramondre, and you have the explosive running back with Will Shipley. I do think they rely on Tank has looked good when he has had his opportunity. I think he breaks 100 yards rushing easy. If he does get the full workload. That's the only thing I don't really know. Like, that's what we're playing the Millie for. We don't know if he's going to get the full workload, if he gets the ball. But in this offense, Saquon gets the full workload. There's not really much going for the other people. So if they stick to that kind of ball, split, that's what it should be. But if not, I can see Will Shipley getting a few explosive carries. Dylan scares you. I don't blame you.
If Bigsby's coming in at 25% and Sirianni doesn't say much, whether it's Bigsby, whether it's Shipley, whether it's Dylan, it could easily be a little bit of a mess. And there's been times where I think people assume that, this guy is going to be in line for a large workload in week 18 and they might only play a half. And that could easily be the case for some of these guys. And you want to throw caution into the wind. I keep trying to read the Coach Speak Index a little bit, hoping to get like a little bit of intel on it, right?
Yeah.
And, we don't really get anything, and this team hasn't been able to run the ball effectively at all. And I know that the Commanders' defense is terrible. So if there was a time for it, but it could easily be like a three-way split where, Sirianni comes out, I want to keep everyone, looking good. We should have a sample, right? At least one sample. Going last year, didn't they have the 1 seed locked up last year?
Yeah.
Was that? Oh, that's 2024. I was looking at
they had the 1 seed locked up last year.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
And it was McKee 269.
He's good, man.
Yeah, Tanner McKee's not bad.
I like him way better than Pickett. I think that's why they got rid of Pickett.
10 carries, Gainwell 11. Gainwell was the number 2 running back last year.
Those are different those are different types of running backs in my head. So I'm like,
but Gainwell was always the guy behind Barkley. And
I agree.
It's not like he was used as just a pass catcher like he is this year, where he's more dynamic in that role with Aaron Rodgers. So, I look at it and it's like, I don't think Bigsby's going to just get 15 carries. I think Shipley could easily be involved in the 50-50 split. A.J. Dillon could easily be caught off the bench. So, ownership's going to change, right? Yeah. But if he is still above 25%, Felix, I think I'm out on this Eagles split backfield potentially.
Yeah, I definitely could see that. I kind of like, again, it's probably best ball brain bias that I'm dealing with here. So I'm probably going to be on Tank because I believe in his talent. I was 100% in on him the previous year, but Tanner McKee at 1% ownership is kind of intriguing as well.
I actually would be kind of enticed by that too. 269 and 2 last year, and you'll find this funny. 7 for 94 for Jahan Dotson last year.
I was going to say, I was loving Jahan Dotson his rookie year. So
former commander.
Yeah. So revenge narrative, he has scored 8 touchdowns.
Prove him wrong in a meaningless game.
And in the Super Bowl, guess who bet his first touchdown bet and was short a yard?
Yes. Yeah, that got overturned, didn't it? Wasn't it real?
It was ruled a touchdown and got overturned to the one, which was absolutely devastating. It was crazy odds, but I don't know. I think Tanner McKee, Jahan Dotson. I don't know who's playing tight end there, but probably just those two for the passing game.
Tanner McKee, Jahan Dotson. I'll give you a little bit more of a sample. Goddard, I don't know if he played the whole game. There's no shot, but he went 4 for 55. Was that could have been just an incentive boost?
It
Shipley
probably
went
was.
4 for 35 the past game. Kenneth Gainwell 2 for 9. Anus Smith 4 for 35 and 1. And the other guy who caught a touchdown was E.J. Jenkins, former tight end for the Eagles. I assume he's not with the team anymore. Yeah, he is. He is. Look at that. E.J. Jenkins still on the roster.
Yep.
Calcaterra, Granson. If you had to pick one, it's Calcaterra. So Debo and these Eagles pieces are intriguing to us.
Yeah.
And I like the Bigsby thing where he's broken off a lot of big runs already, and he'll definitely be involved in at least a 50%.
I think it's going to be he's the bell cow, and Shipley comes in for the passing game.
Britton Covey was great in preseason when he actually played.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about a guy who's just been so solidified and like pigeonholed into punt returner and basically slot guy.
Very elusive.
He and him, I want to say, I gotta look it up just to be sure, because I remember playing Covey in the last 2 preseasons. I gotta make sure that ESPN doesn't even have the preseason stats. Great job, ESPN.
Jeez. Terrace Marshall, is he out, or what's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're just assuming that it'll be Dotson, Cooper, Covey, because not like Marshall's going to be running out of the slot too much at all, right? You wouldn't.
Yeah. No.
4 catches in preseason finale for 32 yards. Yeah, it was a good floor play in preseason. All right, moving on to the last game, Felix. The last game of the year for us.
Oh yeah.
Justin Herbert not playing, but when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And who better than Trey Lance? I mean, you watch Trey Lance in the preseason, and you don't think this game sucks. No, you think that looks like a guy who can play quarterback at a high level in the NFL, who can run the ball, who can throw the ball 80 yards, and just looks like an NFL quarterback.
Someone's getting paid here.
I hope so. And it's funny because it's kind of in the preseason, the way he plays in the preseason is always funny too, because no matter where he was at, whether it's Dallas or whether it's,
Funny enough, it was the wide receiver that's on the Eagles. I don't think he was playing, but Danny Gray and him had this huge, 60-yard bomb together.
Oh my gosh. Last year started week 17 or week 18 for the Cowboys. 20 for 34, 244 yards, no touchdowns. They only scored 19 points. 6 for 26 on the ground. All right, so I'm going to ask you.
I think my Chargers want to lose this game, by the way.
You think
we want the Patriots? I think we want the Patriots. Patriots haven't beaten anybody this year. We want to whoop the floor.
I'm betting against the Chargers no matter what. I'm sorry.
Do it. I dare you.
I'm rotating door in front of Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is playing the best ball in the NFL. He's just getting slaughtered on every single play. You know me. I always say it, but freaking love watching Justin Herbert play.
Dude, the way he ran through that tackle the other day, and
the thing is, he almost guided them. Gadsden dropping passes and stuff. Herbert's doing everything.
Dude, Gadsden. I was gonna have a heart attack. I mean, that's the reason we lost the game. Gadsden and Dicker.
Dicker, you never would have thought, being saying that too. I'm with you. I think Trey Lance at 4,500 is okay, but again, I don't think there's going to be much offense from the Chargers in this one. They still got a terrible offensive line in front of him. He's going to be running around a bunch. I'm not excited about any of these Chargers guys. You flip it over to the Broncos. Again, if they got the game in hand and they're up 15 or 20. Last year, they didn't lay out the gas stuff for what it's worth. Bo Nix played the entire time. They were up 38-0. So if you did want to kind of counter that, RJ Harvey at 6,800 is a little bit steep, but you're going to have the Chargers where it's not the usual pieces out there, right? It's completely rotated. What's your take on the Broncos here potentially being fantasy viable?
Before we get to the Broncos, the Keenan Allen has 6 catches.
Oh yeah,
for $750K, 9 receiving yards for $250K, and the old 2 receptions touchdowns for $250K.
And he did say something in the locker room in jest with a reporter and looking at Trey Lance saying, "We're going to get that money."
They're going to get that money. I do think maybe not the 2 touchdowns, but I do think my boy Trey Lance I'm going to be well overweight over whatever. I think it's listed at 1% currently. But yeah, to go into the Broncos, I think my boy Pat Bryant is going to show off here against Tony Jefferson and these corner. They're probably resting Tony Jefferson, to be honest with you, and these cornerbacks. So I think he has a little bit of a game here. The running game, it's about the explosive runs and the explosive plays. I can see Marvin Mims getting beat deep here, like getting one deep as well. Bo Nix is viable. I will say that. As much as I hate Bo Nix as a person, because if he's on the Broncos, I'm going to hate you. But yeah, I think they're viable here to blow us out, 38 to 16. But I do think with the bring back, Trey Lance is viable because he's going to be running around for his life because there's no O-line and just getting rushing yards just off the rim. You're playing a running back at quarterback position here with the upside of some passes going to Keenan Allen until he gets his incentives.
Yeah, nothing posted on the books yet. I'm with you. It's a chance where the Broncos take care of business just like they did last year. Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, Pat Bryant potentially will.
I can see Cortland Sutton, if they're up big, sit in the second half.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They kind of control that vibe where if they're up, they know that they're not really relying on anyone else. It could be half throttled. Just basing it off last year, though, they just dominated the game. And it's like, you got a year under your belt. Bo Nix is looking, halfway decent in some games, halfway terrible in the others. Maybe it's one of those games where you just get a little momentum under your belt.
I think they just after Bo Nix killing Pat Bryant, I can see them trying to get him back in good graces.
Bobby Hart left tackle too. No, that ain't gonna happen again. Yeah, I'm with you. Felix, plays of the day. This is fun. I want one hypothetical play of the day, one that hasn't been confirmed yet. But for example, the Rams sitting guys, right, or the Bills sitting guys, right. I want one of those hypotheticals where it's an if and then statement, right? Let's get into our Excel formulas now. If this guy is out, this guy is my favorite player, and also just a regular player of the day too. Last slate. So make sure to give a couple. And
we got a few.
There's no props posted at all. There's 2 in that Broncos game, and it's Sutton and Bryant. That's it. Is Franklin out? I didn't even think about that. I didn't see his prop. Oh, he's in. Okay. All right. So let's look. I think my play of the day.
I'll probably just do your play of the day if you don't say it.
I think, let's say it in unison. 1, 2, 3. Michael
Wilson. Yeah.
That's our play of the day right there. Michael Wilson. All right. Because no Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
He is coming at 15% owned. We have a lot of red flags on this slate. The one red flag that doesn't exist is Michael Wilson, man. Yeah. I think he's going to be going against a backup Rams team defense too. Sign me up in a dome.
Yeah.
All right. So I give a bonus one. Michael Wilson's our favorite, right?
Yeah. He's the hands down the best play of the slate. You can ladder him. You're gonna do fine this week.
100%. I want another play of the day. You know what? Let's get funky. What do you think about getting funky?
I like it. What are we looking for?
Dotson.
Oh,
3,800. 7 for 94 with McKee last year. Clearly, him and McKee have something. An upgrade at quarterback for this Eagles team. Going against a terrible defense in the Commanders. Jahan Dotson, hundo yards in their game against the Commanders. Felix, that's a loud one that I did. I made sure to escalate that volume.
Someone is wild.
And just pulled out their AirPods and yelled, "Jesus Christ!" And they're mad, but they're going to play Jahan Dotson after that.
Oh, I have my if-then statement.
All right, what's the if and then?
The if James Cook sits out, Ray Davis goes for 150 rushing yards. Or all-purpose yards.
Ooh, I like it. Ray Davis. The if-then statement. If James Cook is out, then we play Ray Davis. I like it. If the Rams rest their starters. Now I know we're going triple wide receiver here. Maybe I shouldn't do it, right? Maybe I shouldn't do it. But you know what? I'm going to do it. if the Rams rest their starters, all right, sign me up for a bringback of a Texas legend, Jordan Whittington.
Oh,
Whittington would be my guy, where all of a sudden he's got 7 for 77 and 2 with Garoppolo. A guy who's had talent, a guy who's had a decent cup of tea already in his 2 years in the NFL. Last year, he had a game for 7 for 89 against Green Bay in the regular season, and then went 3 for 86 in the season finale last year. Stoneman 3K wide receiver if you need it, if the Rams rest their guys on Sunday.
All right. Just one more play. Dante Pettis. We talked about him very early in the thing. The Falcons have been killed in the passing game lately. He'll probably be the second pass leading for the Saints, with Juwan Johnson obviously leading it in front of everybody else. But Dante Pettis is going to look good in the stat sheet tomorrow or Sunday.
I keep saying tomorrow too.
Yeah.
We're 27 minutes away from being right.
Yeah.
Shuck at 5,300, throwing to Dante Pettis. I like a lot of cheap wide receivers, and I didn't really love the cheap running backs as much.
I don't like the cheap running backs. Yeah.
So, I kind of wanted to add like that last point where I really like Bijan. I really like Gibbs. I really like.
My fate of the day is gonna be ETN personally.
It's so funny because I got the
you see you got it right then. I'm like, yeah, that's going fading too.
Yeah, that's like and Rance, you mentioned it digging deep. Like, I see myself more spending up for Bijan, more spending up for Gibbs, even Chase Brown. Throw in anyone else. RJ Harvey. I don't really love Jonathan Taylor and ETN either. I don't really love Genty, but like at the same time, like those guys are 5, 6, 7K, right? 6 or 7K. But Brees all 6,200. Like, I don't really have a ton to love unless we get like Ray Davis, unless we get Harquez Hunter, right? I'd almost rather play Bijan and Gibbs over a guy like Jaden Blue, who's a little bit inflated projection, in my opinion, where Lepke could easily be significantly involved in that offense where, he's taking passing downs and has already done it this year.
Yeah.
And wide receiver, I don't think we get Puka to play. Jamar's fine. CeeDee Lamb and Pickens are fine. Amon-Ra's fine. We really like Mike Wilson. That's the steep drop-off for me. Right? Yeah. Luther Burden. I like Luther Burden at 5,300.
I like Luther Burden. Yeah, for the high pass.
But then the gap really thins down, right? Like, it's looking like, Jameson's fine. Parker Washington's fine. But you're telling me that, these guys deserve to be 4 points ahead of, these Saints guys who are going to be in similar team totals with a very similar target share, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the part where I just kind of run into, or I think it's a lot of
describes.
It's just all about the ownership. Audric Esme is going to get vultured by Taysom Hill. Right?
So something's going to go wrong for Audric Esme looked decent out there last week, in my opinion, but I will say there'll be a vulture of Taysom Hill if he gets an opportunity.
1,000%. Yeah, 14 for 94 and 1 last week for Estime and a catch. Yeah. I don't hate it. Adam.
I thought it looked good, but I'm
spending up at tight end, I guess. Where's my guy Helm at?
Honestly,
Helm's out.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
I didn't either, but Chiggins looks halfway decent too.
I'm full circle. Draft the guy a ton of best ball only for him to be okay all year and then nuke the last year.
That might be one of my lineups. It's just like all the best ball guys I liked that didn't nuke this year.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I know I'm extending the show, but you got Mayer, you got Love. Tight end's fine. But yeah, I think like going cheap at wide receiver could be the move.
And double tight end is viable this week with like all these kind of iffy, washy plays. Double tight end, the secure players, that have done fairly decent tight ends are going to be.
Embrace variance for Felix and I. We appreciate y'all for watching throughout the entirety of the season. Week 18 is finally here. Should be a great time. Good luck on the 2-gamer tomorrow, too. Catch JSU and Big T in the morning at 10 a.m. They'll be going over the massive 2-game slate that we have on tap. Felix, man, thanks for joining us all year. Your YouTube channel is linked in the description below, your Twitter as well. Great stuff. It's been a fun year, have a good time. Hopefully we end it with $1 million, right? That would be kind of nice. You've already won.
That would be cool. How about that?
Yeah, one more is always nice, right? Yeah. Whoever got mad about 2 million makers, right?
It would be the same day that I won it the first time. So
January 5th,
4th, nice. Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, for Felix and I appreciate y'all for watching. Have a great rest of y'all's day. Bye-bye. Bye.